Good evening, it's Chuck W3ON. I'm operating as W3OC, net control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. Excuse me, this net beats every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system operating here on 147.12 megahertz and also on Echolink. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. It's P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https TRARC.org, TRARC.org, and also on Facebook. Radio Club means you're held on the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. Currently at the Blaine Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. Port open and set for check-in. There's emergency or priority traffic at this time. Heard any? Does anybody have any listings of Sidon Keys? Any radio amateurs who recently passed away? Okay, I haven't heard of any lately, but okay. All right, we'll start taking some check-ins here in a moment. Please, when you check into the net, give your call sign slowly and phonetically. It means spell out your call sign and let me know if you have any announcements or comments. First, we're going to try and see if there's anybody up on Echolink. Anybody on Echolink? It's W3OC.
W3OC, this is Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff in Irwin. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, everybody. No messages, no comments.
Okay, got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray. Anybody else on Echolink? Okay, not heard. All right. Well, maybe it'll be something coming through the normal check-in process. Okay. All right. At this time, I'm looking for any officers of the Two Rivers ARC wishing to check in.
W3OC. Please recognize November 3, Juliet Hotel Bravo, portable out here in Pleasant Hills, along with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
Net control. Net control, recognize Kilo 3, Charlie, Romeo, Oscar, John, Baldwin, no comments, no traffic.
Okay, from the Board of Directors, I got November 3, Juliet Hotel Bravo portable with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa, and also Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar. Anybody else from the Two Rivers Board of Directors wishing to check in? All right, now we'll look for a station operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County.
W3OC. Please recognize Alpha, Mike Romeo, AA3MR. Name is Walt. Mobile here in Clerton, PA. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No comments.
W3OC. Please recognize November 3 Tango Alpha uniform. That's N3EAU. Born in Penn, West Morning County. No traffic. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. This is KA3, KEV, Dennis and Plum. Good evening, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No traffic.
W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Antonio Portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everyone else on the net. No traffic.
N3OC. Please recognize November X-ray 8 Papa, Greg in New Stanton, Pennsylvania. No traffic.
Hey, thank you all. It's W3OC. Here's what I got. I got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-ray on Echo Link, Alpha 3 Mike Radio Mobile, November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sugar Papa, Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Portable, and November X-ray 8 Papa. Thank you. Good evening, all. Anybody else? Mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 Victor Yankee Mike West from Jefferson Hills. Thank you.
Hey, Kilo Charlie 3 Victor Yankee Mexico. Hi, West. Anybody else? Hey, we'll open up for general check-ins, and also if your check-in is done, so call now.
OC, Whiskey Alpha 3, India Oscar Uniform, Kilo.
Net control. November 3, Juliet Papa, Quebec. Kurt in North Versailles. Good evening to the net. No comments.
K3OC, Control, this is Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar, 7 O'Hara Township. Good evening to the net. W3OC, here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Merle and Elizabeth Township.
W3OC, this is Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim and Carnegie.
W3OC, Net Control, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 India Romeo Golf, Ed M. Keysport. Good evening to everyone on the net.
W3OC, W3OC, please recognize Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, Bruce in South Collinsville, Fayette County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net. No further comments.
Hey, it's W3OC. Here's what I got. Whiskey America 3 India Oscar Uniform, November 3 Juliet Papa, Quebec, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Oscar, Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa, Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf, and Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima. Good evening, all. Anybody else?
W3OC. This is K3LL Cliff in West Newton.
Okay, Kilo 3 Lima Lima. Anybody else?
W3OC, here is Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta 8 off from Irwin, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck, everybody on the net. No further comment.
I got Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta. Anybody else? Okay, all right, well, take a standby there. Thank you all for taking the time to check in with us this evening. We probably got more also just sitting there listening, which is also okay, too. This, after all, this is an information net about the radio club, the Two Rivers, and also other activities here in the area. So, and information about amateur radio in general. I do have a newsline, AR newsline keyed up on the computer, which will play here in a little bit. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, Two Rivers activities. Of course, we have quite a few activities going on during the course of each month, which you're invited to attend if you wish to. We have 3 other nets beside this one on the air nets. They're called gap nets, which means exactly what they are. They're like informal kind of things, and we talk about all kinds of all kinds of strange ideas sometimes. Sometimes it's quite hilarious. Matter of fact, we have one fellow on here who likes to give us a joke, usually sometime during the net, which are quite corny. But we appreciate that. Okay, so the other nets include the Wednesday night net, meets at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater system. The host is Whiskey 3 Sugar Hotel Fox. Steve is the host for that normally. Sometimes if he can't make it, we get one of the other guys to fill in. Thursday nights we have a we have a net on 10 meters. Starts at 9 p.m. on frequency 28460 kilohertz on upper sideband, and it's kind of a version of the gap net. So we welcome to join us for that. The club members, of course, we hope we'd hear you checking in for that and participating. Of course, other people can participate too. And on Friday nights, we tentatively have a 40-meter net. It starts at 6 o'clock in the evening on a 40-meter band. It's supposed to be at 7215. I haven't heard it lately, so maybe because of band activity. So those are the radio nets we have. We have other activities during the course of the month. On the second Thursday of each month, we have a thing called the Operations Night, where the club members, anybody else who wishes to operate, can come up to a location and operate on the HF bands. Sometimes we have demonstrations of the newer technology. Sometimes it's just that, which is plain operations. So you don't have to be licensed for that, because we usually have enough operators there that can operate as control operators. Or if you have a technician license, you can still operate on HF, because we have control operators there to help you with that. Also to give you a chance of getting your feet wet with that kind of stuff. That's on the second Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, number 184 they call it, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. So that's at 7 o'clock. On the second Saturday of each month, we have a thing called the Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That's held at a local restaurant. It's more of a family affair, and it's also a social gathering. Starts at 9:30 a.m. Currently, we're using the Rock Run Inn at Butler's Golf Course. It's right off of Route 48. It's outside of McKeesport. So you're welcome to come out here and join us for that. Okay, of course, the Radio Club, we do participate in the ARL Field Day, the Pennsylvania QSO Party, the Winter QSO, the Winter Field Day. And see, we're currently running classes at the moment for technician class candidates, and they have an exam coming up on the 29th of May. So they're about a little over halfway through their classes. So that was something we started this year for the first time. So we have quite a lot of activities going on. A lot of this stuff information is on our website, up on the internet at trarc.org, trarc.org, and also up on Facebook. So that gives you an idea of some of the Radio Club activities. Looking at the regular calendar of activities coming up. Of course, this weekend, the 16th through the 18th, is the Dayton Hamvention, largest ham fest and probably in North America. That's at the Greene County Fairgrounds and Expo Center, 210 Fairgrounds Road, Xenia, Ohio, Xenia, Ohio. I think the hours are 9 to 5. So that's coming up this weekend, the 16th through the 18th. The Two Rivers Club meeting is coming up on the 20th of this month at 7 p.m. at the Blaney Volunteer Fire Department, 409 Oxford Drive in Elizabeth, PA. And, of course, I mentioned the exam session coming up on the 29th. Again, at Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, 4312 Liberty Way, Elizabeth, PA. Okay, looking at the other calendar of other activities coming up, June 8th is the Breeze Shooters Ham Fest. That's probably the Pittsburgh area's probably biggest ham fest. Coming up on June the 8th. The hours, I think it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Locations, the Butler Farm Show Grounds in Butler, PA. They have quite an array of prizes and stuff, and they're going to have a lot of activities and things, forums and things. Go to their website, www.breezeshooters.org, www.breezeshooters.org for more information. The Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club exam session in June is on the 10th. It's a different exam. It's going to be held at 6:30 p.m. at the McKeesport Area High School, Eden Park Boulevard, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Of course, at the end of June, June 28th and 29th, is the ARL Field Day event. That's where individuals and clubs, among others, go out and operate in the field. It's mostly a Canadian, U.S., and Mexican operation. So that's on the 28th and 29th. A lot of clubs participate in that. So there's a lot of information up on the ARL's website, www.arl.org. Let's see, July 20th is the Somerset County ARC Hamfest at the Somerset County Tech Center, 251 Technology Drive in Somerset, PA. I think also at the very beginning of July is the 13 Colonies Operations event. That's very, very, very. That starts over the. It runs a week. It runs over the 4th of July weekend in that week. That's coming up. I'm not having the exact dates, but it's in the early part of July. Then in August 9th is Uniontown Amateur Radio Club Cap Fest. That's a half fest at their club grounds, Old Pittsburgh Road in Uniontown, PA. On the 24th of August, Skyview Radio Society has their swap and shop at the Ham Fest, also at their club grounds on Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. So, and of course, looking further into the summer, September 7th is the Butler County Amateur Radio Club Swap Fest, another Ham Fest. Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. So that's kind of some of the things that are going on. Radio conditions are still pretty decent. I think we had some solar storms this week that probably wrecked things a little bit, but I still hear quite a bit of activity. The ARL DX bulletin came out on May 1st. Let's see, what's it have here? Lesotho, 7 Papa 8 Alpha Bravo, and 7 Papa 8 November Bravo. Their call signs are on operation. 9 Mexico 4 Papa Alpha is from West Malaysia, from an island called Aman, from Mexico Alpha November. That one, oh, I see that one's already over. Sorry. I have heard on the air over the last week. There's been activity from Kosovo, Republic of Kosovo. That's in Serbia. Call sign Zulu Sugar 8 Whiskey is one of the call signs that's in use over there. That's always a nice one to work. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, in Latvia, there's a station operating as Yankee Lima 3 Sugar Golf, Yankee Lima 335 Golf, and they started on the 4th, and they're running they're running a special event to reestablish Latvian independence. Okay, there's other stuff going on too. Of course, last weekend was the Armed Forces Day communications event. That's already over. That was a lot of fun. I participated in that. Unfortunately, it ran just Saturday, so that's kind of over with. Okay, locally, the North Hills Amateur Radio Club is still running a raffle for a Kenwood THD 75A Tri-Band HT. Covers 144, 220, and 440 bands. It includes an extra long antenna and a rapid charger. I think there's only 250 tickets available at $10 each. You can contact the North Hills Amateur Radio Club at most of the club events or Hamfest events, or to their P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA 15237, or attend one of their club meetings. I'm not sure when their club meetings are, but that's P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. That's kind of what I got. There's always contests and stuff going on each weekend, and I know last weekend was the CQM Worldwide DX contest on. There was a lot of activity on the HF bands for that. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a standby. Does anybody need repeats or anything you've heard? This is W3OC. Okay, all right. Maybe I'm just too boring. Aye. All right, let me see what Newsline's got today. I flip a couple of switches here. Be on here with Newsline. It's W3OC.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2480 with a release date of Friday, May 9th, 2025. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The FCC proposes changes for testing electronics made overseas. A first for a disaster training workshop in India, and weather balloons litter a scenic beach in Australia. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2480 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Union, Kentucky, here's Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Our top story this week is all about electronics that are made for the U.S. market but tested overseas. The U.S. regulator is preparing to change where that testing can and cannot be done. Here's Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, with the details.
The FCC plans to tighten its requirements for the testing of electronic devices manufactured in countries such as China before they can be sold to U.S. consumers. The Commission will review an order this month that bans device testing conducted by labs that are, quote, owned, controlled, or directed by entities that pose national security risks, according to a statement by FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr. He identified China as one example of such a country. He said it was important that U.S.-based labs begin taking the responsibility to certify such equipment. According to Carr's statement, Chinese labs test about 3/4 of all electronics sold in the U.S. The Commission will consider the new order in its open meeting on May 22nd. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Never mind space junk from decommissioned satellites. Right here on Earth, pieces of weather balloons have been littering one beach in Australia. John Williams, VK4JJW, brings us up to date.
Remnants of latex rubber weather balloons and foam boxes with scientific instruments washed up recently on the southwest coast of Victoria, where they were discovered by beach patrol crews. According to local media, the half-dozen or so balloons were carrying a radio sonde to measure temperatures, wind speed, wind direction, and relative humidity. The balloons had been launched from Tasmania for a research project hosted by the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation, the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, and the U.S. Department of Energy. The launch site on the northwest tip of Tasmania is considered the location of the planet's purest air, making it a preferred spot for scientists' climate studies. Heath Powers, the project's operations manager, said in an Australian Broadcasting Corporation report that scientists are testing more eco-friendly ways to conduct these studies without creating such an impact on marine life. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
In a little more than a month, the U.S. will stop supporting 3 satellites in its important group of weather observers. CELMB KB3TZD tells us what that means.
3 U.S. government weather-watching satellites have been scheduled to formally enter the end-of-life stage on June 16th by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA has announced that the satellites 15, 18, and 19, which are part of the Polar Operational Environmental Satellite, or POES system, will no longer be updated or repaired. As quoted in the blog usradioguide.com, NOAA said that this means signals will continue to be transmitted, but should not be used by anyone for purposes involving safety or other critical matters. Hobbyists will still be able to download weather satellite imagery either via automatic picture transmission on 137 MHz with a V-dipole antenna or via high-resolution picture transmission on 1.7 GHz with a tracking dish antenna. Like the other POES satellites, this trio had provided data that was used in monitoring the environment, forest fires, volcanic eruptions, and global vegetation. This is Salembi, KB3TZD.
As the days wind down towards opening day of Hamvention in Xenia, Ohio, organizers report brisk ticket sales and the hope to match or exceed last year's attendance of more than 35,000 guests over the 3 days. A team of 700-plus volunteers will be there starting on May 16th to make everyone welcome. This year's theme is Radio Independence, and for 3 days it will pervade the 4 meeting halls where the forums are taking place. Tickets can be purchased at the box office outside the main entrance gate. For additional details, visit hamvention.org. The ARRL is also encouraging visitors to download the Hamvention app, which includes the full program and affiliated events. Find the link to download the app in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Thanks to an infusion of money from Amateur Radio Digital Communications, the massive collection at the Digital Library of Amateur Radio and Communications can keep growing and growing. Randy Sly, W4XJ, has those details. The collection of digitized newsletters, magazines, and online media at the Digital Library of Amateur Radio and Communications keeps growing. And now the library has something else to add to its hefty collection, a second grant from Amateur Radio Digital Communications, the group that provided the original grant that first helped bring this Library of Amateur Radio's international history to life. Kay Savitt's K6KJN, the library's curator, said in the Zero Retries newsletter that the funding will permit the free library's continued operation for another 2 years. He said Phase 2 of the library's operation will include acquiring and digitizing material from the California Historical Radio Society and the Spark Museum of Electrical Invention. The library's most recent acquisitions include the Wireless Institute of Australia's Amateur Radio magazine from 1933 through 2012 and dozens of new issues of the DX Bulletin. Still celebrating the support, Kay wrote in the newsletter, quote, "Excuse the mess. There's still confetti all over the floor of DLARC World Headquarters," end quote. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ. The CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame, which is now overseen by Ham Gallery, has announced the trio of inductees for 2025. We hear more about them from Travis Lisk in 3ILS.
The 3 newest CQ Hall of Famers, who were chosen following a nomination process that ended in April, include 1 Silent Key. The inductees are Wayne Overbeck, N6NB, who became a Silent Key last month, Angel M. Vasquez, WP3R, and Jim Breakall, WA3FET. Wayne, who became a Silent Key on April 18th of this year, was well known as a co-creator of the Quaggy antenna, which is part Yagi, part Quad. A top-performing contester, he was honored as Radio Amateur of the Year at the Dayton Hamvention in 1980 for his years of contributions to ham radio. Wayne was an educator and a former vice director with the ARRL's Southwestern Division. Angel, who was named Amateur of the Year at Dayton Hamvention in 2021, had worked at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico since 1977. He had served as head of telescope operations and was the lead operator for 2010 Moon Bounce project at Arecibo, a project that included, among others, fellow Hall of Fame inductee Jim Breakall. Angel works as the Puerto Rico Coordination Zone Administrator managed by the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. Jim is a professor emeritus of electrical engineering at Pennsylvania State University and a leader in cutting-edge antenna technology. He is credited for his work with the numerical electromagnetics code used in antenna analysis. A prolific author and busy contester, Jim has been involved in antenna designs at Arecibo and the HARP facility in Alaska. For more details about the recipients, visit hamgallery.com. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
Congratulations to the winner of the 2025 Amateur Radio Software Award. If you do a lot of portable operating, you may already be very familiar with this program and its developer. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us about them both.
Ham 2K portable logger has been a mainstay in the field for a growing number of portable operators since its development by Sebastian Delmont, Kilo India 2 Delta. The Amateur Radio Software Award Committee has chosen to honor the free downloadable logger, citing its, quote, intuitive, user-friendly interfaces and a suite of convenient features, end quote. The software's support of worldwide flora and fauna, summits on the air, parks on the air, and the ARRL Field Day has helped grow its popularity. Details about the logger can be found at polo.ham2k.com. Meanwhile, mark your calendars for the 7th through the 17th of November when the committee will activate Special Events Station Kilo 6 Alpha, Kilo 6 Romeo, and Kilo 6 Sierra. That spells ARS for Amateur Radio Software to honor this year's winner and to solicit nominees for next year's award. The International Award is given for open source software projects that promote innovation and freedom in amateur radio. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the W9BCC repeater in Wausau, Wisconsin, on Sundays at 9 p.m. during the Rib Mountain Repeater Association's Sunday night SwapNet. Nominations close on the 31st of this month for Newsline's Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. Do you know a promising young amateur who is a potential candidate? Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States. If they have talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio, they might just be this year's award winner. Find applications on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. The APRS Foundation's inaugural Education Summit, originally scheduled to take place in May, has been postponed until the autumn of this year. The nonprofit group is developing a full day of programming that is geared to both seasoned operators and beginners, anyone interested in using the automatic packet reporting system. Discussions about packet radio will include the fundamentals, but will also address cutting-edge applications and what's in store for the future. Best of all, guests can attend the online seminars and interactive Q&A sessions right from their home QTH. Registration details will appear on the Foundation website at aprsfoundation.org when they are available. The mountainous terrain of the Indian state of Nagaland is daunting, but it is never more daunting than in an emergency when communication cannot afford to fail. An amateur radio training program has been helping state officials train in the latest communication technologies, as we learn from Jim Meachin, ZL2 BHF.
Open source classes for amateur radio, also known as Oscar India, has been working with the Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority to sharpen responders' communication skills. In the most recent session, held in late April, participants celebrated a first for responders in the region in northeast India. They successfully used radio signals for image transmission, using the call sign 82NE. District project associates who work for the Disaster Management Authority were able to see the benefit of this image transmission mode. They also received training in antenna building and Morse code. Oscar India's convener, Nilikantha Chatterjee, VU2OII, told local media, quote, "This demonstration proves radio's vital role when modern networks fail. While we have conducted similar transmissions elsewhere, bringing this capability to northeast India's unique landscape is particularly rewarding." End quote. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF.
In West Bengal, India, law enforcement officials in one city are adding amateur radio shacks to police stations. Now they are busy getting volunteers trained and licensed to use them. We have an update from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
2 months of ham radio training began in late April for civic volunteers who assisted the 26 police stations throughout the city of Barrackpore. The sessions are being conducted by Sarayan Mandal, VU3ZHF, Pashupati Mandal, VU3ODQ, Deepak Chakrabarti, VU2TLW, and Jayanta Bafidya, VU2TFR, all are members of the West Bengal Radio Club. The training is designed to prepare the volunteers for the exam leading to the ham radio certificate from the Ministry of Telecommunications. Radio shacks are expected to be set up at each of the 26 police stations and the police central office. The police commissioner told local media that adding wireless communication to the various modes used by law enforcement will be especially helpful for disaster response. This is Graham Kemp, BK4BB.
The Osaka Kansai Expo 2025 is a major event by the Japan Amateur Radio League that showcases cutting-edge technology and focuses on training and education for the ham community. Jarl is inviting hams around the world to get involved in the months ahead, as we hear from Jason Daniels, VK2 LAW.
Members of the Japan Amateur Radio League are showing their support for the Osaka Kansai Expo 2025 in a big way. For the 184 days, they are calling QRZ with the call sign 8K3EXPO. The expo opened on April 13th with the first QSOs made by JARL President Koji Morita, JA5SUD. Volunteers throughout the organisation will continue the activation until its conclusion on the 13th of October. According to the Expo website, all the radio equipment for this station is being operated remotely, utilising optical fibre. A radio booth is set up next to one of the Expo halls in the East Gate zone and linked to the antenna tower elsewhere on site. Not everything is happening on site. At the same time the 8K3 station is on the air, the mobile station JA3XPO is also being operated by JARL. This is a special call sign that has been reactivated 55 years after its first use at the previous Osaka Expo in 1970. The mobile operation will travel to the 6 prefectures in the Kansai region. Of course, if you think this expo is a big deal, wait until next year when JARL marks 100 years since its founding. For additional information about the expo, see the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW. In the world of DX, listen for call signs with the special prefixes 4X77 and 4Z77 until the 10th of May. Hams in Israel are celebrating the 77th anniversary since the founding of the Israel Association of Radio Communication and the establishment of the State of Israel. See QRZ.com for more details. Casimir, DL2SBY, will be using the call sign HB0/DL2SBY from Liechtenstein from the 11th to the 18th of May. Listen for him on the HF bands and on 6 meters. See QRZ.com for details. The call sign II3IARU is being activated by Alex, IV3KKW, to mark the 100th anniversary of the IARU and the 75th anniversary of IARU Region 1. He will be on the air until the 18th of May. QSL via his home call sign. Finally, we hear about a distress call that came in via radio, but this wasn't exactly a local call or even a conventional DX call. How about 26,000 light years from Earth? Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, goes the distance with this story.
It's known as the snake, the nickname by which astronomers identify one dense, elongated filament in the center of our Milky Way galaxy. It apparently has suffered fractures in 2 places. As best as scientists can tell, a fast-rotating neutron star known as a pulsar collided with the snake at a not-too-shabby 1 to 2 million miles per hour and caused a fracture that disrupted the snake's magnetic field, releasing radio emissions from the site of the impact. NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory and the Meerkat radio array in South Africa studied the snake, which is 230 light years long, to get a better picture of what scientists compare to fractures in bones. Radio astronomers combined their findings with those of an observatory in San Agustin, Mexico, and recently released a paper in the monthly notices of the London-based Royal Astronomical Society describing the event. Scientists study filaments such as the snake to understand their roles in how stars are formed. Whether the snake can heal is another question altogether. Cosmic veterinarians don't make long-distance house calls. Meanwhile, patient privacy rules do not apply here. So, you can see images of the injury on the Chandra X-ray Observatory website. The link is in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
Have you set in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website, arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, Amateur Radio Software Award, Ambarish Nagbiswas, VU2JFA, AMSAT, Australian Broadcasting Corporation, David B. RK7DB, FCC, HamGallery.com, IFL Science Journal, QRZ.com, Nagaland Post, NASA, Radio World, ShortWaveRadio.de, Times of India, U.S. Radio Guy Blog, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Zero Retries Newsletter, and your listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3, and as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
Okay, it's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. I don't see I have any more announcements here tonight, so at this time I'll take a standby. Anybody else like to check in has done so, call now.
Chuck, this is KB3DVD. I just need to know the times that you check in on Thursday to Gabnet.
Okay, it's W3OC. 9 o'clock p.m. on 28460. Sorry, I would just inform it. That starts at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. on 28460.
Okay, 8 p.m. 28460. Thank you.
Okay, right, thank you. All right, let's see. I count 22 check-ins on the check-in roster. Everybody have a good week, and maybe we'll catch you folks up here on the repeater. Maybe some of you going up to date, and we'll be up there with bells on. Hi. This is W3OC, also known as W3ON, closing the Two Rivers Net. Good night.